My selfish parents gave my daughter a used coloring book with pages torn out for Christmas and said, "Take the trash. Your sister's kids get the good stuff." My daughter started crying. Everyone snickered, even my sister's kids. But 20 minutes later, the house went quiet when I opened my phone, canceled every auto payment I covered, and watched Dad's face change when the first alert hit. My name is Trevor. I am 38 years old, and if there is one thing I have learned in life, it is this: being dependable in my family meant being invisible. I grew up in a house where my sister Morgan could do no wrong. She was 3 years younger, blonde, where I was dark-haired, charming, where I was quiet. My parents adored her. Every birthday, every holiday, every school achievement became a celebration of Morgan. I learned early to stay in the background, to nod when they praised her, to smile when they forgot mine. By the time I turned 16, I had started working part-time at a computer repair shop. I saved everything, not because my parents asked, but because I knew they would need it eventually. Morgan wanted a car for her 16th birthday. I watched my father sell my desktop computer, the one I had built myself with spare parts and weekend wages, to help pay for her down payment. She got a red Civic with a bow on top. I got a pat on the shoulder and a reminder that family helps family. I told myself it was fine. That is what you do when you love people. College came next. I went to state school on scholarships and loans. Morgan went to a private university 2 states away, funded by her parents and my monthly checks. I worked 3 jobs to stay afloat. She joined a sorority. I graduated with honors in computer science. She graduated with a communications degree and no job prospects. My parents threw her a massive party. Mine was a quiet dinner at a chain restaurant. I started a software development company when I was 26. It grew slowly at first, then faster. By the time I turned 30, I was making enough to breathe. By 32, I was doing well. By 35, I was financially comfortable. My parents never asked how I was doing. They asked how much I could lend them. It started small. A few hundred here for property taxes. 1,000 there for an emergency roof repair. Then it became monthly. Mortgage payments when Dad's hours got cut. Insurance premiums when Mom's job downsized. Credit card minimums when their spending did not match their income. I set up automatic transfers. I told myself it was temporary, that they would pay me back. They never did. 4 years passed like that. 4 years of silent payments flowing from my account into theirs. 4 years of watching Morgan post vacation photos on social media while my parents claimed they could barely afford groceries. 4 years of my wife Rachel gently suggesting I talk to them about boundaries. I did not listen. I told her they were family, that they needed help, that it was my responsibility as the son who had made it. Rachel stopped pushing after a while. She focused on our daughter instead. Lily was 7 years old, bright-eyed and sweet. She loved drawing, coloring, making up stories about princesses and dragons. She asked about her grandparents sometimes, wondered why we did not see them more often. I told her they were busy. The truth was simpler. We were not a priority. Morgan had 2 kids now, a boy and a girl, both under 10. My parents worshipped them. Every weekend was filled with trips to the zoo, the park, the movies. Every holiday was a parade of expensive gifts and loud laughter. We were invited, of course, as an afterthought as the cousins who lived too far away to matter. But this year, Rachel insisted, Christmas morning at my parents' house. Lily had been asking to spend time with her grandparents. She wanted to see her cousins. She wanted to feel like part of the family. I could not say no to my daughter. So, we drove 3 hours on Christmas Eve, stayed in a hotel nearby, and arrived at my parents' house at 9 o'clock in the morning. The tree was massive, surrounded by piles of wrapped presents. Morgan's kids were already tearing through them, squealing with delight. My parents sat on the couch, smiling wide, taking photos. Lily stood by the doorway, holding Rachel's hand, watching. I thought maybe this year would be different, that maybe they would see her, really see her. I was wrong. The wrapping paper covered the floor like snow. Morgan's kids sat in the middle of it all, surrounded by new tablets, remote control cars, dollhouses, art sets that cost more than I spent on groceries in a month. My mother kept reaching over to straighten bows to coo over each gift to take another picture. Lily stood near the tree, quiet. She had brought a small wrapped box for her cousins, homemade cookies she had decorated herself the night before. No one acknowledged it. Lily, sweetheart, my father finally said, glancing over. We have something for you, too. My daughter's face lit up. She stepped forward, hopeful. My mother reached behind the couch and pulled out a crumpled gift bag. No tissue paper, no bow. Just a wrinkled bag with someone else's name scratched out on the tag. Lily took it carefully like it might break. She pulled out a coloring book used. The cover was bent at the corners. Half the pages were torn out. The crayons inside the bag were broken stubs, most missing their wrappers. My daughter's smile faltered. It is from the donation bin at church, my mother said, her voice flat. We cleaned it out last week. Figured you could use it. I felt my chest tighten. Mom, I started. She cut me off. What? It is perfectly fine. She is 7. She does not need anything fancy. Morgan laughed from the couch. Oh my God, Mom, you gave her trash. It is not trash. My mother snapped. It is practical. Besides, your kids get the good stuff. That is how it works. Lily's fingers trembled as she held the coloring book. Her eyes filled with tears. Take it with you when you leave, my mother continued, waving her hand dismissively. We do not need it cluttering up the house. The room went still for a moment. Then Morgan's daughter giggled. Then her son. Then Morgan herself. My father chuckled. Even Rachel's hand on my arm felt distant. Lily's tears spilled over. She did not make a sound. Just stood there holding that broken coloring book, crying silently. Lily, honey, Rachel whispered, kneeling beside her. I am fine, Lily said, her voice small. She wiped her face with the back of her hand. I looked at my parents, at Morgan, at the piles of gifts, at my daughter standing in the middle of a room full of people who should have loved her. Trevor, do not make a scene, my mother said sharply. It is Christmas. I did not respond. I walked over to Lily, picked her up, and carried her to the hallway. Rachel followed. I set Lily down gently, brushed her hair back from her face. We are leaving soon, I told her quietly. Okay, Daddy, but first, I need to do something. Stay here with Mom for a minute. Rachel's eyes searched mine. She knew that look. The one I got when I was solving a problem at work. Calm, focused, cold. I walked back into the living room. My phone was already in my hand. Trevor, seriously, Morgan said, rolling her eyes. She is being dramatic. It is just a coloring book. I sat down in the armchair by the window, opened my banking app. My parents were still laughing about something. Morgan's kids had moved on to the next pile of presents. I pulled up my automatic payment settings. Mortgage payment to Mom and Dad's account. Cancel. Property tax transfer. Cancel. Home insurance premium. Cancel. Car insurance for both vehicles. Cancel. Credit card minimum payments. Cancel. Utilities over a payment buffer. Cancel. Each cancellation took 3 seconds. I worked through the list methodically. No hesitation, no second guessing. My father's phone buzzed first. He glanced at it, frowned, then it buzzed again and again. Clears throat. What the hell? He muttered, unlocking the screen. My mother's phone lit up next, then Morgan's. The room went quiet. Trevor, my father said slowly, his face pale. Did you just cancel the mortgage payment? I looked up from my phone. Yes, what? My mother stood up, her voice shrill. You cannot do that. I can, I said calmly, and I did. 3 more notifications hit their phones simultaneously. My father stared at his screen like it had betrayed him. Insurance, utilities, credit cards. Trevor, what did you do? I stopped paying for your life, I said. The drive back to the hotel was silent. Lily sat in the back seat, clutching the torn coloring book like it was something precious. Rachel stared out the window, her hand resting on mine. I could still hear my mother's voice, the way she screamed when I stood up to leave, the way my father followed us to the door, demanding I reverse the cancellations, the way Morgan called me selfish, cruel, ungrateful. I did not argue. I just walked out. Now sitting in the car with my family, I felt nothing. No anger, no regret, just a hollow quiet that settled deep in my chest. Rachel broke the silence first. Are you okay? I nodded. I am fine, Trevor. I am fine, I repeated. She did not push. She knew better. Lily's soft voice came from the back seat. Daddy, did I do something wrong? My heart cracked. No, baby, you did nothing wrong. Then why did Grandma give me trash? I pulled the car into the hotel parking lot, turned off the engine, and sat there for a moment. Rachel reached back and squeezed Lily's hand. Sometimes, I said slowly, people do not see what is right in front of them, and that is their loss, not yours. Lily nodded, though I could tell she did not fully understand. We went inside. Rachel took Lily to the room to pack. I sat in the lobby staring at my phone. The notifications were relentless. My father had called 8 times. My mother, 12. Morgan sent a string of texts calling me every name she could think of. I read them all without responding. Then I opened my email. For the past 4 years, I had kept meticulous records. Every transfer, every payment, every bill I covered. I had spreadsheets, bank statements, receipts. I told myself it was for taxes, for organization. But deep down, I think I always knew I would need proof. I scrolled through the files. Mortgage payments totaling $72,000. Property taxes $18,000. Insurance premiums $14,000. Credit card minimums $23,000. Utilities, $6,000, $133,000 over 4 years. Not a single thank you, not a single acknowledgement, not even a question about whether I could afford it. I leaned back in the chair, closed my eyes, I thought about the computer my father sold, the college tuition I paid for Morgan, the quiet dinners where I sat invisible, the years of being the dependable one, the reliable one, the one who never asked for anything in return. I thought about Lily's face when she opened that coloring book, the way her smile disappeared, the way she cried without making a sound. I opened my eyes. My phone buzzed again. My father's name lit up the screen. I let it ring. Rachel came down with Lily a few minutes later. Our bags were packed. Lily had changed into her favorite sweater, the one with stars on it. She looked small. Tired. Ready? Rachel asked gently. Yeah, I said, standing up. Let us go home. We loaded the car. Lily fell asleep before we even hit the highway. Rachel glanced at me. Her expression soft. You did the right thing, she said quietly. I did not answer. I was not sure yet. All I knew was that I was done. Done being invisible. Done being the bank account they forgot to thank. Done watching. My daughter learned the same lessons I had learned. The road stretched ahead long and empty. I kept driving. Behind me, my phone buzzed endlessly. Calls, texts, voicemails piling up. I did not look back. I spent the next 3 days organizing everything. Every receipt, every bank transfer, every email confirming a payment. I built a spreadsheet that outlined 4 years of financial support, categorized by type, date, and amount. It was strangely therapeutic watching the numbers stack up, seeing the pattern laid out in black and white. Rachel brought me coffee around midnight on the third night. She set it down next to my laptop, leaned against the desk. How much? She asked. 133,000. She exhaled slowly. Jesus, Trevor. I know. They never said thank you. Not once. She sat down in the chair across from me, her eyes scanning the screen. What are you going to do? I already started, I said. I canceled the payments. Now I am documenting everything in case they try to claim I owe them or that I am abandoning them. Do you think they will? My mother already sent an email threatening to sue me for elder abuse. Rachel's eyebrows shot up. Elder abuse? She is 62 and works full-time. I know that is insane. I shrugged. That is my family. My phone buzzed on the desk. My father's name. I declined the call. It was the 43rd time he had tried to reach me since Christmas morning. Rachel watched me for a moment. You are really done. It was not a question. Yeah, I said. I am really done. She nodded slowly, stood up, kissed the top of my head. Good. After she left, I kept working. I pulled up the payment portal for their mortgage lender, confirmed the cancellation, verified that no future payments would process. I did the same for their insurance, their utilities, their credit cards. Then I sent a single email to my parents. It was short, professional, detached. Effective immediately. I am discontinuing all financial support. This includes mortgage payments, insurance premiums, property taxes, credit card minimums, and utility overpayments. Attached is a complete record of all payments made over the past 4 years, totaling $133,000. I do not expect repayment. I expect no further contact. Trevor, I attached the spreadsheet, hit send. 2 minutes later, my phone exploded. Calls, texts, voicemails. My mother, my father, Morgan. I turned my phone off. The silence that followed felt clean. I went upstairs. Rachel was reading in bed, Lily asleep beside her. I climbed in next to them, careful not to wake my daughter. It is done, I said quietly. Rachel set her book down, turned off the light. How do you feel? I thought about it. Lighter. She reached over, took my hand. We lay there in the dark, listening to Lily breathe. For the first time in years, I felt like I could breathe too. The next morning, I woke up to 17 new voicemails. I deleted them without listening. My mother had sent a 6-paragraph text message accusing me of ruining Christmas, destroying the family, and being a heartless son. My father sent a calmer message asking me to reconsider, to think about what I was doing. Morgan's message was the loudest. She called me selfish, cruel, a terrible brother. She said I was punishing our parents for no reason, that I was using money as a weapon, that I should be ashamed. I read them all, deleted them all. Then I made breakfast for Lily, pancakes with chocolate chips. She sat at the table swinging her legs, telling me about a dream she had. Something about a dragon in a castle. I listened. Really listened. When Rachel came down, she glanced at my phone sitting face down on the counter. They still calling? Yeah. You going to answer? No. She smiled, poured herself coffee, sat down next to Lily. Outside, the January cold pressed against the windows. Inside, my kitchen was warm. My daughter was laughing. My wife was smiling. I realized something then, something simple and true. I did not need their approval. I did not need their acknowledgement. I did not need to be invisible anymore. I just needed this. My family, my peace, my choice. The phone buzzed again. Clear's throat. Ignored it. They showed up 3 weeks later. I was putting Lily to bed when I heard the doorbell. Rachel answered. I heard my mother's voice immediately, sharp, angry, demanding. I came downstairs. My parents stood in the entryway, both of them looking thinner, older. My father's face was tight. My mother's eyes were red. We need to talk, my father said. No, I replied calmly. We do not. Trevor, please. My mother's voice cracked. The mortgage, the insurance. We cannot afford it. We are going to lose the house. Then sell it. Her face twisted. Sell it? That is our home. You should have thought about that before you gave my daughter garbage for Christmas. It was just a coloring book, she shouted. You are destroying our lives over a coloring book. I stepped closer. My voice low. It was not about the coloring book. It was about 38 years of being invisible. It was about watching you give Morgan everything while I paid for it. It was about my daughter crying because you could not even pretend to care. My father held up his hands. Trevor, we are sorry, okay? We are sorry, but you cannot just cut us off like this. We are family. Family? I repeated. You mean the people who forgot my birthday for 10 years straight? The people who sold my computer to buy Morgan a car? The people who took $133,000 from me without a single thank you? My mother's face went pale. You kept track? Of course I kept track. That is sick. Morgan's voice came from behind them. She had been standing on the porch, hidden in the shadows. Now she stepped forward, her face twisted with anger. You are sick, Trevor, keeping score like that, using money to control people. I looked at her. Really? Looked at her. I did not control anyone. I gave, you took. There is a difference. We are your family, she screamed. No, I said quietly. You are people who share my DNA. Family does not treat each other like ATMs. Family does not laugh when a 7-year-old cries. My father tried again. Son, please, we will pay you back. We will figure it out. Just turn the payments back on just for a few months. No. Trevor. No, I said again louder this time. I am done. I am done fixing your problems. I am done being the backup plan. I am done pretending this is normal. My mother's face crumpled. She started crying. Real tears this time. We are going to lose everything. Then lose it. I said. I did over and over and I survived. You are heartless. Morgan spat. I shook my head. Clear's throat. I am free. Rachel appeared beside me. Her hand on my arm. I think you should leave now. My father looked at her, then at me. This is not over. Yep, I said. It is. They stood there for another moment like they were waiting for me to change my mind. When I did not move, did not speak, my mother turned and walked away. My father followed. Morgan lingered, her eyes filled with venom. You are going to regret this, she said. I already regret waiting this long. She left. The door closed. The house went quiet. Rachel locked the deadbolt. You okay? I nodded. Yeah. Upstairs, I heard Lily's voice calling for me. I went up, found her sitting up in bed, clutching her stuffed dragon. Who was at the door, Daddy? No one important, sweetheart. She smiled. Lay back down. I tucked her in, kissed her forehead. I love you, Daddy. I love you too, Lily. I turned off her light, closed the door gently. Downstairs, Rachel was sitting on the couch, her head in her hands. They are going to keep coming, she said quietly. I know. What are you going to do? I sat down beside her. Nothing. I already did everything I needed to do. She looked at me. You are sure about this completely? She leaned against me, her head on my shoulder. We sat there in the quiet. Outside, the winter wind rattled the windows. Inside, I felt still, steady, certain. For the first time in my life, I was not the one holding everything together. I was letting it fall, and it felt right. The calls did not stop. Neither did the emails. My mother sent 3 a day, each one more desperate than the last. My father tried a different approach. Calm, reasonable, apologetic. Morgan sent threats. I ignored all of it. Instead, I focused on building my case because I knew they would not let this go quietly. I knew eventually they would try something legal, a lawsuit, a claim, some twisted version of events where I was the villain. So, I prepared. I pulled every bank statement from the past 4 years. I downloaded every email confirming a payment. I saved every text message where they asked for money, promised to pay me back, thanked me briefly before asking for more. I organized it all into a digital folder, categorized, time-stamped, cross-referenced. Then I did something I had been avoiding. I called my accountant. Trevor, he said when he answered. Good to hear from you. What can I do? I need documentation. I said every payment I made to my parents over the past 4 years, itemized, dated, verified. There was a pause. That is a lot of payments. I know. Can I ask why? They are threatening to sue me. Another pause. For what? Elder abuse. Abandonment. I am not sure yet, but I want to be ready. He sighed. Give me 2 days. I will pull everything. 2 days later, He sent me a PDF, 43 pages, every transfer, every payment, every bill I covered, all of it laid out in precise, undeniable detail. I printed it, put it in a red folder, set it on my desk. Then I called a lawyer. Her name was Catherine, mid-50s, sharp, direct. She listened while I explained the situation, the payments, the cancellations, the threats. When I finished, she was quiet for a moment. "Do you have proof of everything?" she asked. "Yes, all of it, every dollar." "Good," she said. "Because if they sue, they will lose, and they will know it the second we present discovery." "What if they do not sue? What if they just keep harassing me?" "Then we send a cease and desist. Make it clear that continued contact constitutes harassment. If they violate it, we file for a restraining order." I felt something loosen in my chest. "How much will this cost?" "Retainer is $5,000. If it goes to court, more honestly, Trevor, I do not think it will. Once they see what you have, they will back off." "You are sure?" "I have been doing this for 23 years. People like your parents rely on guilt and intimidation. They do not expect documentation. When you have it, they fold." I hired her that day. A week later, she sent the cease and desist. Certified mail. One to my parents, one to Morgan. The response was immediate. My mother called 17 times in 1 hour. I did not answer. My father sent an email accusing me of legal bullying. Morgan posted on social media a vague rant about ungrateful siblings and broken families. I stayed silent. Catherine called me the next afternoon. "They are not going to stop, are they?" "No," I said, "they are not." "Then we escalate. I will draft a formal notice outlining the payments, the harassment, and the potential for further legal action if they continue. We will make it clear that any attempt to contact you, your wife, or your daughter will result in immediate filing." "Do it." She did. The second letter went out 3 days later. This one was longer, more detailed. It included a summary of the $133,000. It included timestamps of the harassment. It included a warning that any further contact would be considered a violation. It also included a copy of the 43-page payment record. My father called Catherine's office. She did not take the call. She sent a response email reminding him that all communication must go through her and that continued attempts to contact me directly would result in legal consequences. That was the last time he tried. Morgan kept posting online, vague, passive, aggressive rants about family betrayal and financial abuse. I did not engage. Neither did Rachel. Eventually, her posts stopped getting likes. Her friends stopped commenting. The narrative she tried to build fell flat. Because the truth was simple. I had proof. They had excuses. And in the end, proof always wins. I sat in my office staring at the red folder on my desk. 43 pages of evidence, 4 years of invisible generosity, $133,000 they would never acknowledge. I closed the folder, put it in the filing cabinet. I did not need to look at it anymore. I already knew what it said. The collapse came faster than I expected. In March, I got a text from an old family friend, someone who had known my parents for decades. She asked if I knew they were selling the house. I did not respond. 2 weeks later, my father's car was repossessed. I only found out because Morgan posted about it, blaming me for ruining their credit. In April, their home insurance lapsed. A pipe burst in the basement. The damage was extensive. Without coverage, the repair costs fell entirely on them. They could not afford it. The house went on the market the first week of May. I saw the listing online. The photos were sad. Furniture that looked older than I remembered. Walls that needed paint. A yard that had not been maintained. The asking price was $70,000 less than what they owed. Rachel found me staring at the listing one night. She sat down beside me, looked at the screen. "How do you feel?" she asked. "I do not know," I said honestly. "Regret? No? Relief? Maybe." She closed the laptop gently. "You did what you had to do. I know they did this to themselves, Trevor, not you." I nodded, but part of me still felt the weight of it. Not guilt, just the heaviness of watching something fall apart, even when it needed to. Morgan called me in mid-May. I almost did not answer, but curiosity got the better of me. "What do you want?" I said when I picked up. "They are losing the house," she said, her voice tight. "I know. You could stop this. You could help them." "No," I said I could not. "Trevor, please. They are your parents. They were my parents when they spent $133,000 of my money without a thank you. They were my parents when they gave Lily trash for Christmas. They were my parents when they laughed at her tears. That was one mistake. It was 38 years of mistakes, Morgan, and I am done paying for them." She was quiet for a moment. Then her voice changed, softer, almost desperate. "What about me? What am I supposed to do?" "Get a job," I said flatly. "Stop relying on them. Stop expecting me to fix everything. You are such a bastard." "Maybe," I said, "but I am a free bastard." I hung up. Rachel was standing in the doorway. That sounded intense. It was, "You okay?" "Yeah," I said. "I am okay." In June, the house sold. My parents moved into a small apartment across town. 2 bedrooms, no yard, no space for all the furniture they had accumulated over the years. Morgan posted about it, about how unfair it was, about how I had abandoned them in their time of need. A few of her friends commented, supportive at first, but then someone asked a question, a simple one. "Wait, did not Trevor pay for their house for years?" Morgan deleted the post. I did not gloat. I did not comment. I just watched the narrative she tried to build crumble under the weight of the truth. By July, the call stopped. The emails stopped. The social media posts stopped. Snorts. There was nothing left to say. My parents had lost their house. Morgan had lost her cash flow. I had lost nothing because I had already lost everything years ago. My childhood, my acknowledgement, my place in the family. Now I was just getting it back, one canceled payment at a time. Catherine called me in late July. "They are not going to sue." "How do you know?" "Because I got a call from a lawyer representing your mother. He asked if we would be willing to settle." "Settle what?" "Exactly." I told him there was nothing to settle, that you owe them nothing, that any attempt to pursue legal action would result in counterclaims for harassment and fraud. And he hung up. "You will not hear from them again." I exhaled. "Thank you, Catherine." "You are welcome, Trevor. Take care of yourself." I hung up, sat there for a moment, staring at my phone. It was over, really over. No more calls, no more emails, no more threats. Just silence. And for the first time in 4 years, I realized something. Silence was not empty. It was peace. I stood up, walked downstairs. Lily was in the living room coloring in a brand new coloring book, one I had bought her. Thick pages, bright colors, unbroken crayons. She looked up when I walked in. "Daddy, look what I made." I sat down beside her, looked at the page. A dragon? A castle? A princess with a crown. "It is beautiful, sweetheart," she beamed. "I love you, Daddy." "I love you too, Lily." Rachel came in, sat on the couch, smiled at both of us. Outside, the summer sun was setting. Warm, golden, quiet. Inside, my daughter was coloring. My wife was smiling. My phone was silent, and I was free. August came quietly. No calls, no emails, no surprise visits, just the slow, steady rhythm of a life that was finally mine. I spent the summer with Lily. We went to the park. We went to the library. We built a treehouse in the backyard. Just the two of you. Us hammering nails and laughing when things did not go quite right. Rachel took time off work. We went on a small vacation. Nothing fancy, just a cabin by a lake. No agenda, no schedule, just us. Lily caught her first fish. She screamed with excitement, then immediately felt bad and insisted we let it go. We did. Watched it swim away into the clear water. At night, we sat by the fire. Rachel leaned against me. Lily fell asleep in my lap. "This is nice," Rachel said softly. "Yeah," I said. "It is. Do you think about them?" "I thought about it sometimes." "Do you regret it?" "No." She was quiet for a moment. "Good." We stayed like that until the fire burned low. Then I carried Lily inside, tucked her into bed, and sat with her until she was deeply asleep. When I came back out, Rachel was still by the fire, staring into the embers. "You are different now," she said. "How lighter, like you're not carrying something heavy anymore." I sat down beside her. "I am not. It suits you." I smiled. "Thanks." We sat there until the stars came out. Bright, endless, quiet. In September, I got an email from my father. I almost deleted it without reading, but curiosity again. It was short. "Trevor, I know you do not want to hear from me. I understand. I just wanted to say that I am sorry for everything, for not seeing you, for not appreciating you, for taking you for granted. I do not expect forgiveness. I just wanted you to know, Dad." I read it twice, then closed it. Rachel asked me later if I was going to respond. "No," I said. "Why not?" "Because sorry does not fix 38 years, and I do not need his apology to move forward." She nodded. "Fair enough." I never replied, but I did not delete it either. I kept it not as a trophy, not as proof, just as a reminder that I was worth an apology, even if it came too late. By October, life had settled into a new normal. Work was good. Lily was thriving in school. Rachel and I were closer than we had been in years. I did not think about my parents much anymore, or Morgan, or the house they lost, or the money I gave. It was not bitterness. It was not resentment. It was just distance. Healthy, necessary, freeing. One night, Lily asked me about her grandparents. "Daddy, do you think I will see Grandma and Grandpa again?" I thought about it. "Maybe someday." "Do you miss them?" "I miss the idea of them," I said carefully. "But not who they actually are." She frowned, thinking. "That is sad." "Yeah," I said. "It is. But we are okay, right?" I pulled her close. We are more than okay, sweetheart. We are perfect. She smiled, went back to her coloring book. I watched her for a moment. My daughter, happy, safe, loved. And I realized something. I had spent 38 years trying to earn a place in my family, trying to be enough, trying to be seen. But I already had a family right here in this house with this little girl and this incredible woman. And they saw me. Really saw me. I did not need anything else. Outside, the autumn leaves were falling. Inside, my daughter was laughing. And I was home. Really home. Clear's throat. For the first time in my life.